Welcome to our GROHE workshop. Today I'll show you how to install the GROHE Rapid SL Accessible in front of a brick wall in 5 easy steps. First, check the contents. Of course, it's helpful to read the assembly instructions. You can install a lot without using tools. You'll still need a few tools though. The wall brackets must be installed first. To do this, screw the nuts onto the threaded bolts and screw these into the frame. Then push the wall brackets onto the grooved end of the threaded bolts and adjust and align them to match the planned installation depth. The distances to the wall must be taken into account depending on the pipe diameter used for the outlet at the end. Now first align roughly, then adjust the height. Basically, when taking the floor structure into account, the standard height of 1 meter is used for orientation, and the marking on the frame is used. Of course, a WC can also be installed a little higher or lower if necessary. However, please always take into account the ceramic bowl dimensions. The frame can be adjusted to a height of up to 200 millimeters. However, it should not be pulled out completely. Align the frame using the spirit level and fix the height using the nuts of the adjustable feet. Then set the correct distance to the wall using a folding ruler. The position of the frame should be determined based on the center of the outlet pipe. When the distances have been determined and the 1 meter mark has been aligned above the finished floor, mark the drill holes. Now drill the 6 holes using a 10mm drill and press the wall plugs into the holes. Then fix the frame to the floor and to the wall. After this, adjust the wall brackets with the screwdriver, using the spirit level to check that the frame is exactly vertical. Now just tighten the nut and push on the plastic clips directly in front of the bracket as a locking mechanism. The Rapid SL has now been fitted to the wall and the floor, and the cistern can be connected to the water pipe. The transport lock for the flush valve is no longer needed at this point. Now install the angle valve and fix it from the front using the blue ring. Pay attention to the alignment here. The water can now be connected. Next, insert the outlet bend and fix it using the outlet clamp. Then insert the orange construction stoppers. The wastewater can then be connected. Now screw in the retaining bolts at intervals of 180 mm, or alternatively 230 mm, depending on the ceramics. Then fit the flexible hose to the angle valve. First, flush the system so that no foreign matter can get into the filling valve. Then turn the angle valve off again and connect the flexible hose to the filling valve. Now it's time to prepare the wireless electronics. In addition to the wireless electronics shown here, the following release forms can also be used. Here too, it is of course helpful to read the assembly instructions. The wireless electronics needs 6 volts, and the mains transformer needs a 230 volt connection. Install the transformer after the Rapid SL has been roughly assembled. This should be done by a qualified electrician. First, attach the junction box. Then install the power cable according to the enclosed assembly instructions. After this, snap in the mains transformer. Now lay the cable in the cistern. Simply guide the power cable through the side opening of the water supply line. Finally, install the inspection shaft for the wireless electronics. This is included in the scope of delivery and is attached vertically. Now let's check that we've dealt with all the important aspects. The Rapid SL accessible can now be covered, and the wall can be tiled directly up to the bare wall protection. The GROHE wireless systems are, by the way, compatible with various manufacturers of support bars. The next step is the final assembly. The inspection shaft must be cut completely flush with the wall, so that the wireless electronics do not protrude over the edge of the tiles later on. Now remove the flexible hose. The next step is to install the wireless electronics. For a correct fit, insert these brackets into the inspection shaft. Snap them into place. And shorten them according to the assembly instructions. Then screw on the white threaded nuts. Now mount the holding frame with the 4 screws. This notch points downwards. Use a spirit level to align the position of the holding frame and tighten the screws. Now adjust the flush valve. To do this, first remove the extension and take out the flush valve. Now pull the float to the height of the valve, then push the small slider all the way down. The flush valve is now rotated 180 degrees, then reinserted and the extension put on. Now clip the blue tube into the crosspiece and cut it off at the top edge of the crosspiece. Then connect the new angled hose. The angled connection comes to the filling valve. Then mount the motor on the bracket and snap it onto the crosspiece. Next, attach the connecting rod to the extension of the flush valve and insert it into the flush valve by turning it. Then attach the connecting rod to the lever handle arm. Pull the power cable out of the front of the box and turn on the water supply at the angle valve. Now connect the motor to the wireless electronics and then connect to the power. Next, press the connect button on the wireless electronics and press the flush button within 30 seconds. The Bluetooth connection is now established. Now clamp the cables to the openings on the side of the retaining plate. This prevents the cables from coming into contact with moving parts in the cistern. Finally, just place the wireless electronics on the holding frame, press it on and secure it from below with the locking screw. Done! Now carry out a test and check for leaks. Perfect. Now it's time for the handover. Before the job's done, there are still a few things left to check. Job done.